Hello, it's Wednesday and we are back with another video. What are we doing today?
So this past weekend, the second largest political party in the country released their 2024 manifesto. And there's a lot to say about it.
Hey.
Let's just check out this clip first.
Yeah.
And then you tell me what you think about it.
Okay.
Painting the city of Tshwane blue, the DA kicked off with a march from Church Square to the Union buildings, sending a message of intent to the ANC government that their time is almost up.
That in this election, we are in it to win it. That in this election, we must rescue the union buildings from the clutches of a corrupt government. And we must restore them to their rightful place as a symbol of pride for all South Africans.
Okay, before we get into the talking points of the manifesto itself, let's first discuss the optics of the whole event and everything that happened surrounding that event.
Yeah.
So what did you think about the statement of the DA marching to the union buildings and launching their manifesto there?
Because they obviously it's for them to make a statement. They want to make a statement to say we are coming, we are coming. This year is gonna be our year, and it's just like they're making a bold statement, I feel.
So for context, for those of you that don't know, three of the top four of the biggest political parties in South Africa right now are all launching their manifestos in KZN, Moses Mabhida Stadium.
Yeah.
We recently had EFF launch their manifesto, Moses Mabhida.
Yeah.
ANC are planning to launch their manifesto later on in Moses Mabhida. And the IFP as well.
And DA just decides to do their own thing.
And
I like that though.
The DA
I like that
goes a separate way.
Yes.
And decides to march to the union buildings instead.
Absolutely.
To send that message to say that they're going to take over the government. To me, that's just a sign of them not feeling comfortable about KZN. Because KZN is the biggest voter base in the country. That's why all these big political parties are voting. I mean, are going to launch their manifestos there to try to get as many votes as possible in KZN. For the DA not to do the same, that shows that they're not confident in. And
I feel like they want
KZN.
Yeah.
But to that point as well, if you noticed in the manifesto launch and the march itself, there was quite a large black
That's
following.
what I was shocked about. I was very shocked at that. I did not expect that. I really expected like a large white crowd. I really expected a white crowd.
Well, some are speculating that
it's a bored crowd.
Yeah, some are speculating that most of the black people in the crowd are bored. They're paid to be there, and some are saying that the slaves are out while the owners are back at home,
because they're not gonna do it themselves. They're not gonna.
There was a few very strange things that were happening during the whole march itself. So, for instance, the DA, they were singing a whole lot of struggle songs, right?
Yeah.
They even remixed the EFF struggle song "Kill the Boer." They remixed it. Yeah. So they were chanting that song, but they weren't singing the actual part of killing the Boer.
Yeah.
And another funny thing that happened was there was a black lady that was being interviewed, and she was advocating to bring apartheid back. Like, she was saying that no, she wishes apartheid comes back. This is a black lady that was
serious sabotage and more South Africa. And the blame apartheid, another pillar, apartheid. Naibili kina apartheid boye. Karumaka na apartheid boye. Apartheid boye. Kahorle like the strata Church Square. Don't you think that's a very controversial statement?
So you see what I was saying, like. A lot of them will be those ones that are thinking like that because there were those talks. You get what I mean? Like, people there are a lot of people that were like, I'd rather go back to that oppression than live in, and we know it's a lot of older people as well. There were a lot of people that were talking like that. Let's be honest. People that were saying crazy shit like that, like, oh, I'd rather go back to apartheid because apartheid was better than the ANC-led government, and how things are now under the ANC power, things are just worse off and things like that. So there is a telling few people that think like that. And unfortunately, we can't really change people's minds.
That was a very crazy statement to say,
Crazy.
especially coming from a black person. But like you said, there are some people that feel like apartheid was better than what it is now. I totally disagree with that. But anyway, to each his own. There was a whole lot of weird, funny optics that was going on.
Yeah.
It felt like the DA was trying to appeal to a crowd that they don't normally appeal to.
Yeah.
And it just looked a bit offish because you could see that they don't understand what was really
the
going on.
dynamics of this crowd now.
Yeah. But anyway, it seems like the actual event itself, it was successful because they successfully marched from Church Street all the way to the Union Buildings, had the Manifesto, and celebrated after. Let's get to the 7 points that you brought up, of what the Manifesto is mainly about, and let's discuss that.
Yeah.
So let's go to point number 1.
As the anchor tenant in a new multi-party government, the DA's key priorities during the 2024 to 2029 term will be to 1. Create 2 million new jobs for South Africans.
What do you think about that?
I believe them on that. I really believe they are one of the people I actually believe on the jobs thing to actually happen, and I feel like they know, they got the plan. You know, like in Cape Town, they had this program where like young people, like from like once you finish matric, then you could do this internship, like this work readiness internship, like I forgot what it is, but the DA was sort of introducing it, where they put you in all these departments, like municipalities departments, like in, you know, government thingies, right? Some were absorbed, and then they got full employment, and then while also like they do these. I've seen it, like being in Cape Town. They have these things where they've got in place to try and get people employed and things like that. So I do feel like when it comes to having a plan for employment, I feel like that they can do it. Like, and employing people and utilizing people in all these government, in these arms of government, in these spaces within government.
Statistically, the Western Cape is the province with the lowest unemployment rates in the country. So technically, they should be able to.
Believe that.
I
would believe that.
Increase the amount of jobs across the country as a whole if they were to govern. There's no like legitimate plan that they're saying how they're gonna do this. It's just like, okay, we're just gonna put 2 million people in jobs, but there's no how about it. So we don't even know if they want to industrialize or if they want to do what you're saying, like just put people in government. We don't know what the actual plan is, but 2 million is decent for 5 years. Yeah, decent. But I feel like they should be aiming a bit higher than 2 million. Next point.
2. To end load shedding in South Africa and end water shedding.
So
I love that he added the water shedding as well. Everybody else has been minding that. I don't think it's deliberate, but like I love that he added that there. Okay, everybody's promising us to end load shedding, and at this, honestly, I really believe that it can be ended. I feel like maybe if there's anything the next party will do is at least do that. I feel like
that's the only thing they gotta do.
Yeah.
If another party comes into power, all they gotta do is fix one thing.
Yes.
Just end load shedding, and then that guarantees them a second term.
A second term. Like people will want to hear more of them. Like, okay, thank you. You know what I'm saying? And yeah.
And this is one of the gripes I have with the ANC is like, yes, there's so many issues in the country and stuff like that, but like for 5 years or one term, just say I want to fix one thing.
Yeah.
Just fix one thing.
Instead of you telling us about state capture that you are literally.
But they always compound on the issues by not fixing any issues and just
yes.
creating more issues, and to the point where the country's fed up now and they're tired of the ANC. So the next government, the main issue is just
all
to
you
fix
need to do is fix load
one
shedding,
thing.
bruh.
Just fix load shedding, and that guarantees your second term and so forth. Just keep fixing issues.
Like
one
South
by one
Africans are not hard to please. Let's be honest.
But for the DA, they say they want they'll end load shedding in the next 5 years, which is a more reasonable timeline. compared to what the
6
AFF
months or
was
whatever.
saying, for 6 months. They'll say they'll end it in 6 months. The DA is saying within the next 5 years they'll end load shedding, which is more reasonable.
Which could be soon. Which could be in a year, in 2 years at least. They're saying within the term.
Yeah, any South African will be happy if any government ends load shedding. So it's a plus for everybody. Next
Absolutely.
point.
Number 3, halve the rate of violent crime, including murder, attempted murder, and gender-based violence.
Interesting. We know what is the huge driver of crime in South Africa: poverty and unemployment. So by addressing that problem, right, all those problems, and focusing on them, then you could definitely achieve that.
I'm a bit skeptical on this one because so depending on the method they're gonna use to try and do this, because once
Or you saying like they might have stricter measures on
so
punishment.
once people set out a goal to say I want to half the amount of crime,
it means drastic.
Yes,
something
that means law enforcement is basically going to be a lot stricter, a lot harsher. And a lot more brutal in some instances. Yeah, I'm just skeptical on how they're gonna do that, because if they increase police brutality, then that might negatively affect some communities. So again, how he's gonna do that is very important. I hope he touches more on that. As
we want to hear more.
Next point.
4, crush corruption by abolishing cadre deployment in favor of merit-based appointments and a capable state that delivers for all South Africans.
Okay. Well, we know.
I'm skeptical of this as well, because you know how when a certain demographic of people are in power, a lot of nepotism happens.
Absolutely.
A lot of favoritism happens.
And
they would say it's merit-based, but we all know that's not true.
Oh, we all know.
So we might be trading in one evil for another. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah.
And we've been seeing this merit-based there in Cape Town. So
all in all, it will be better. It will be better in general for the government as a whole if we do have merit-based appointments, because most of our ministers are not qualified to do the jobs that they're doing. We see that clearly in the decision making.
Hiring the wrong people.
We see that clearly in the decision making. We see that
makes us skeptical.
There's some skepticism.
Yes, like all of these sound great on paper, but like
Next point.
5, lift 6 million South Africans out of poverty.
Again, he doesn't say how he's going to do that, so that makes me skeptical. Because he could also just produce a better grant system than what the ANC is doing now. Similar to what Julius is doing. Because Julius's grant system that he proposes will lift a whole lot of people out of poverty. A whole lot of people. Could be even more than 6 million people. So there's no how here.
Like, why do people shout in the crowd, how?
because he says he wants to create 2 million jobs.
So okay, so another 4 million. How
are they going to be lifted out of poverty? We need to ask these questions. I'm trying to think how you do that. A better grant system, one.
Yeah.
Or it could be based on association. So if you have 2 million breadwinners, right? 2 million new breadwinners.
Okay,
that means
that's true. A household of are lifted out of
poverty.
That's true.
And that could be
that's
more
true.
than 6 million people.
That could be how he's also looking at.
So the how is very important. So even though this manifesto is very shallow, it just gives you like, okay, we're planning to do this, but there's no how. Hopefully the DA will elaborate on these things as time goes on. Next point.
6, triple the number of grade 4 learners who can read for meaning.
So at that point there is basically saying he's going to try and
Focus on education,
improve the education system.
quality. Yeah,
He wants to make basically 3 times the amount of grade 4s more literate.
yeah.
Basically more literate and be able to read and understand what they're reading.
Yes, yes.
So with that, he needs to basically improve grade RR, grade R, grade
Yeah,
1, grade 2,
from
grade
the
3. You
foundation.
know, basically improve ED.
Foundation phase.
Yeah, the foundation phase of education. So there's a whole host of ways he can do this. But again, there's no how.
I like but I like the point.
An improvement in education is better for everybody. So there's no dispute about that. Just wonder how he's going to do that. Anyway, next point.
And finally, 7, ensuring quality healthcare for all South Africans.
I love that.
Improving the healthcare system.
I love that. That definitely, because now it's the pits, especially the public healthcare system. Like, let's be honest, private healthcare is becoming ridiculously expensive, but it's happening where public is just not an option. Like, it's just no. And I feel bad for people who don't have a choice between the two. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like anybody would love to be able to utilize public healthcare. And if they could improve that for South Africans, I mean...
Yeah, it's a quality of life improvement for everybody.
Yes.
So I was just thinking like that basically you have to create more
Yeah.
healthcare facilities
Yes.
to accommodate more people.
Yeah.
Lessen the load on others, yeah.
Yes.
That would make sense.
Because I feel like the current workers that they are stressed, you know what I'm saying? And that's not a place where you want to overstress people that they don't treat people well. Because it's one of the places where you need people to treat people the best.
Again, we'll see how he's planning to implement all these things.
Yeah.
The 7 points he brought up are good points. And
Are really
if
good
implemented
points.
well, will improve SA.
Would definitely make SA be a country you'd want to stay in.
So my biggest issue with the DA after all of this is, again, I feel like they haven't touched on anything.
How to...
they haven't touched on how to implement these things, but my biggest overall philosophy of DA, right?
Yeah.
They plan to improve South Africa in the ways that they've stated.
Yeah.
But for me, they haven't touched on some of the root causes causing South Africa to rot right now.
Yeah.
Inequality.
I feel, but he's just, yeah.
They haven't touched on inequality.
And they know that that's the one thing. Do they not know that that's the one thing that we want to hear from them? But why are they tippy-toeing around that subject?
That's what I'm saying. So the fact that he didn't touch on the inequality of
does that
South
mean that
Africa,
he's not planning to do anything about
yes,
it?
I think that the DA will still protect white interest as a whole. So the status quo won't change. White people will still hold.
They have not done anything to assure us
The majority of the economy, and black people will just be the labor force, basically.
Yes.
I think that's what I get out of this. He wants to increase the labor force, but he doesn't want to change the status quo.
The status quo
Of how distributed the economy is.
Yeah.
For me, that's a big.
Lord save us.
That's a big red flag for me.
Lord
And
save us.
It's probably one of the biggest reasons why I wouldn't consider voting for the DA. And then on top of that, if you look at Cape Town, considered the best run province in the country, but it's also the most violent as well. It's the most violent province in the country. And they haven't done anything to halve the crime rate there. So there's some red flags in terms of how they're going to do that if they haven't done it in one province, and if they increase the inequality across South Africa as it is in the Western Cape, you might see more violent crime. And then how they're going to halve that if they haven't been able to do it in the Western Cape. There's a lot of questions to be asked. The nice thing about the DA itself is that there is a reference as to how they can govern, which is the Western Cape. Western Cape shows you if the DA was in power, this is most likely how they'll govern the country.
Absolutely.
White people living nice, black people not. You know, that's the main takeaway. Apartheid light. So for me, the fact that they never touched on inequality, they never touched on
Yeah, like,
all
are
those
you?
things.
This is your time to assure us, because let's be honest, that's like one of the major reservations people have about the DA. Why are you not addressing that?
Because they don't see anything wrong with it. That's why. So yeah, for me, decent manifesto. Not as detailed as the EFF, but also for me, there's a lot of red flags
Yeah.
that I'm not particularly happy about. But either way, you guys let us know what you think about this whole situation.
Yeah, let us know.
Don't forget to like, subscribe.
And keep watching. Goodbye.
We'll check you guys in the next one.